So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Angelia Schwarz-Coleman. I'm a retired minister and psychological consultant. I started out working at an insurance company doing billing and dictation, and I've done plumbing supply repairs and assembly, and I started working as a telemarketer for a local charity, and then at a local business for 12 years. And then I only started going to school when I was in my 30s. Didn't have the money before that, and my parents said they didn't have the money to send me. I didn't know anything about grants or anything like that. So it took me a lot longer than your normal student to start school. And for a while, I was a single mother, so I could only take classes as I could afford to take them. So the, regular university situation did not work for me. But then I started teaching. I got a child psychology career diploma, started teaching at a daycare, and took my youngest son with me. And then I started studying more psychology. I worked with a lawyer for a little while. And then I worked at a psychology group and a counseling center, all the while going to school as I could afford to. And then I set out on my own and became a minister. I ran Works of Heart Ministry, Outreach, and Education for 17 years at different places. I had several locations that I practiced out of. And then I practiced, in people's homes one-on-one. I did ministerial services, support groups, life coaching. I went and got registered with the Coach Training Alliance. I did adult ed classes through our local county school system and at several locations here in our city. And I wrote, 14 classes, I think. And then I learned about Reiki and natural healing. Excuse me. And do arts and crafts. You can probably look at me and tell I'm kind of an artsy-fartsy. But I did these things in my life. So I've learned a lot of things. I've studied about a lot of different things. I quit counting when I got to over 1,000 hours of studying psychology. And that's why I have the PhD, because I've done all my coursework, but I did not write a dissertation. I did not apply to do an internship for the simple fact, excuse me, itchy nosy, and not the actor. And I cannot get a license in the state that I live in because our state requires that you go to school in that state or that you come with a license from another state and then get one here. So I saw no reason, to do that, because I knew I couldn't get a license anyway. I just wanted the knowledge to help my clients. And I did all this under, the umbrella of Works Heart Ministry, Outreach, and Education for 17 years. And then I ran a charity called Healing Families' Lives for 9 years. So I've helped hundreds of people to understand why they do what they do. And that's what I've called this podcast. I started out with a little thing of what I learned of being a minister. And that was a little bit, a piece. I've learned a lot more than that. That's just a little chunk that I threw in there because basically, the format here was prompting me to do something. And so that's what I had. But now I've got this going on. So I'm going to be, adding to this daily and start talking to you about why you do what you do. And usually it all boils back to how you were raised. Your parents are the most important people in your life. Your mother is the first person you hear her voice first because you're carried inside of her womb. And the relationship that you have with your parents is the most important relationship you'll ever have in your life. And it affects all of the other relationships that you have in your life. So if it's not a great one, that's problematic because you're going to learn some maladaptive habits and some coping mechanisms. And yes, I had a stroke and I was pregnant at the time. I had a gestational stroke. And I've had a heart episode a few years ago. So that's why I'm here talking to you, not practicing out in the office somewhere. Because I've had to slow down quite a bit. I've had to retire. But I still feel like I have something to offer, and I've been writing books and doing other things. But I really miss teaching. I liked teaching. I liked, even from the kids to the adults, I liked watching when people got it, when you could see the wheels, instead of spinning would kick in, the gears would click and they would get it and they would start learning and understanding what you were, telling them. It's always good when you have a good student. Those are the students we want. We want you to understand and learn. We don't want you to just sit there and be, And I'll just be honest with you. Out of all the students I taught, the younger ones were the better students because they want to learn. They're willing to listen. Sometimes adults come into your classroom and they have more of a chip on the shoulder. And, if you don't say things or do things the way they think you should, they might get a little bit of attitude about, listening to you, but it's like, you paid for the class. I'm giving you this information. I would think you would want to listen and learn, but that's just me. I don't want to get my money's worth if I went to an adult ed class. But like I said, there's one in every group. But, I've taught hundreds of people over the years. And so, I do little videos. I am a retired minister. I was ordained back in 2004. And so I do have a faith base. And, I was saved back when I was 13. And I've done kind of a no-no where I combined faith and psychology. Because a lot of people in the faith world don't believe in psychology. And a lot of people in the psychology world don't believe in faith. So I've kind of done the no-no and married these two, in my practice, doing life coaching with people and teaching. But as a matter of fact, they do marry very well because I believe that God created science, which psychology is a science, and one day science will probably prove the existence of God. So I don't have a problem, with these two things going together. And, you're going to see me probably reading off things a lot because, like I said, I did have a stroke, which has affected my speech center, so bear with me on that, I can't remember volumes and volumes of stuff. If you were to pick my brain on an individual question, I could probably still keep up with you and answer those questions. I haven't lost the retention, but I have lost the immediate ability to phrase things the way I want to phrase them. So you're probably going to see me reading and then expounding on that a lot because, I'm trying to teach you right in the specifics. So I'm going to want that outline in front of me to help me to be able to do that for you. So, if you turn in, you will learn some things. You will learn about why you do what you do, and, why other people do some of the things they do. So I hope you tune in. I hope from, here on out, I have some interesting things to teach you, because that's the goal here. I'm not sitting up here to listen to myself jabber, why bother with that? I'm going to help you understand why you do what you do. So until next time.